Open a pantry and you'll see tins promising Mediterranean sunshine and hand-packed goodness. What you don't see are the tiny details in fine print, which are actually the most important part. Sardines are cheap, nutritious, and perfectly fine most of the time. But history shows a handful of brands and product types that keep showing up in recalls, warnings, and import alerts. In this video, I break down 9 specific sardine brands, 7 you should avoid, and 2 that are much safer options. So why should you avoid this brand? Grupo Dia's cheap sardines were part of a 2019 recall after a Portuguese production run posed a risk of botulism toxin. This happened because private labels like these are mostly cost-driven. Sometimes processing is farmed out to distant contract plants with variable oversight. That means one misstep in a contracted plant can send thousands of risky tins out under an anonymous brand name. Even if this might be spun as the label didn't know, it at least suggests that oversight wasn't as strong as it should have been. So this is what you should look out for. Cans without a clear production plant, faded or missing lot codes, or no importer listed. If a tin simply reads, product of some country, but gives no plant ID, your ability to trace it is limited, meaning that they probably have something to hide. A practical tip would be to swap these out for a branded tin with visible lot numbers and a customer service contact. It may cost more, but it will also buy you peace of mind. Cloverleaf voluntarily pulled specific flavored boneless filet lines after authorities warned that those recipes could allow Clostridium botulinum growth. Flavors, sauces, and modified oil blends alter acidity and water activity, 2 key factors in safely preserving canned food that weren't as safe as they should have been. This is what you need to watch out for in this case: garlic, jalapeno, or complex marinades labeled on boneless fillets. These are the product types that showed up in the alerts. Also, if you like flavored sardines, buy plain fillets and add fresh garlic or chilies at home. That gives you control over ingredients and avoids any processing shortcuts. Besides that, it's also a cheaper option. John West has issued precautionary recalls on certain batches worldwide after reports of swollen cans indicated a suspected contamination. This was a lesson that a famous label doesn't guarantee every can is safe and always good to eat. It just means a big name must manage larger recalls, and with more customers, there's always more consumer scrutiny. If official recall notices don't list specific lot numbers or repeated precautionary actions without detailed explanations, you should be cautious. But if they do, just do a quick Google search to see whether your can matches any recall or return. Smaller packers and contract canners sometimes issue broad voluntary recalls due to thermal sterilization issues. Basically, that refers to the heat and time required to make canned foods shelf-stable. And in this case, it wasn't sufficient. Small operations can be excellent, but when they recall multiple SKUs at once, it often points to a production control failure, meaning that you should be careful of small brand tins that don't describe processing methods, have no third-party testing claims, and in some cases, even have evasive customer support responses. So if you want to try niche brands, look for a processing statement or in-lab verification on their site. Regulators in various countries occasionally flag unregistered canned products that lack proper labeling or approval. That's exactly what happened here, as they found an unregistered BES canned sardine product. Unregistered foods bypass routine inspections and paperwork. That means you have no reliable way of knowing what could be wrong with it. But even if it's all clear and good to eat, that additional effort is needed to let the customers have peace of mind. Watch out for cans sold in informal markets or online listings that don't show an importer's name or registration code. Also, don't buy tins without a full ingredient list, manufacturer details, and a lot code. Registration matters for accountability. This is more of a proven pattern that should be avoided rather than a singular brand. Across multiple marketplaces, flavored boneless sardines, everything from chili garlic to herb marinades, are overrepresented in recall notices. Manufacturers add sauces and flavorings, which change the food's chemistry. Unless the processing is adjusted perfectly, the risk is sure to increase. I love these sardines myself, and I like to keep an eye on any boneless, pre-marinated fillets with multiple added ingredients and no clear processing info. But the best thing to do here is to make flavored variants at home. Drain your plain fillets in oil and add herbs, garlic, lemon, or chili to taste. Trust me, you won't regret it. So why should you avoid these categories? Anonymous dollar shelf tins without traceable factories or clear lot codes appear frequently in import alert lists. Really, just listening to this sentence should sound like trouble. Add to that, these products often lack the transparent supply chain that helps authorities act fast if something goes wrong. So if you see faded or absent lot codes, missing factory stamps, or packed for statements with no factory address, put it back on the shelf. And don't be stingy. Pay a little more for traceability and comfort. Speaking of which, here are the 2 safer picks I promised you. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. Now, back to the good picks. Wild Planet is known for publishing sourcing information and practicing conservative sourcing. They emphasize a short, visible supply chain and sustainability. That doesn't make any brand infallible, but it means problems are easier to trace and recalls are narrower when they happen. Still watch out for clear fishery information, catch methods, and lot numbers printed on the tin or online. With this, you can safely keep Wild Planet in rotation for quick pantry grabs. When a company posts traceability details, it signals they're prepared to manage issues responsibly. King Oscar's bristling sardines and Royal Selection lines emphasize careful handling and often carry MSC or similar certifications. Their labeling tends to be explicit, with visible lot codes and importer info. An established brand with external certification significantly lowers the odds of surprise recalls. People talk about canned sardine safety. The first thing that usually comes up is Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria that produces one of the most powerful natural toxins out there. Botulism is incredibly rare, but when it happens, it's extremely serious. That's why a swollen can, a leaked seal, or even a smell that seems off shouldn't be ignored. It's better to throw away one suspicious tin than to take a chance on something that could actually harm you. On the other hand, sardines also get wrapped up in discussions about heavy metals. They're small, low on the food chain fish, which means they usually accumulate far less mercury than big predators like tuna or swordfish. Still, depending on where they were harvested or how they were processed, trace amounts of metals like arsenic, cadmium, or lead can show up. If you're pregnant, nursing, or feeding a young child, it really pays to choose brands that openly publish their testing data and sourcing information. For most people, though, eating sardines from reputable, traceable brands is absolutely safe, and still one of the healthiest, most affordable proteins you can buy. So when you're out shopping, think of a few simple habits. Start by taking a good look at the can. You want it flat, clean, and perfectly sealed. Any bulge, leak, or deep dent along the seams is a sign to put it back immediately. Then take a moment to read the tiny print that most people ignore. The country of origin, the factory code, the lot number, and everything else we talked about. At the end of the day, none of this is meant to make you paranoid. Sardines really are one of the most nutritious, wallet-friendly foods you can keep in your pantry. The goal isn't to scare you away from them, it's simply to help you make smarter choices. Think of it this way, you don't need to give up sardines, you just need to pick the ones that give you full confidence when you crack the lid.